Stories from the Tabernacle by May Moore. Stage directions for Harriet Tubman. The Harriet Tubman story starts with a brown felt underlay and a blue river and trees. I got these, they're like little model trees. And I painted wooden figures for this story. And I used the small versions for kids. So this is going to be Minty. And then I'm going to place Minty at the beginning of the story, right over here, close to the storyteller. This is the audience, so we're looking from the storyteller's perspective. So here's Minty. I place Minty first. And then these are the figures that I used to be her parents. So I set her parents on one side of her. And then when I talk about how they were slaves, I place these figures as her white owners on this side of her. And then we talk about how she had to go out into the freezing river to check the traps. I just move her little figure in and back, and in and back, and in and back. And then when I say that when her owners made her work hard and they beat her, I like to take one hand and just slap it with two fingers to make just kind of the suggestion of that sound. And then when Minty gets older, we remove the small figure. And this is my grown-up Harriet figure. And I place her here, and then we talk about how she ran away. So then I move her along this side and kind of move her like she's standing next to the trees. She's not really going to be hidden, but it kind of gives you the suggestion that she's hiding. So we move her along the trees. And then when we say that the slave catchers are coming, these are my slave catcher figures. And I put them sort of close to her, but not that close. So it's just to suggest that they're looking for her. I continue to move her over to the side. And then when we say in the story that there's safe places to stay, I use one figure to represent kind of the white family on the Underground Railroad, and then these figures to represent free black families. So I put them kind of on this edge so that they're going to make a way for her to move from one house. She kind of stops with this person, and then her figure moves over here and she stops with these people. And then to show when she gets to freedom, I move her all the way to the top. This is going to represent the north up here, the closest to the audience. And then when she goes back, you just move her over and bring her down the river. So she's coming back this way, and suddenly, boop, there she is again in Maryland. And when she comes back the first time, she takes her sister who has a new baby. So I just painted on sort of the suggestion of a little baby. And then she also takes her niece. So I have another small figure. So Harriet's going to take them, again, carefully on the same path down to the edge. And then over, they're going to stay in the same places that she did. And up here, then they're also going to come all the way to the north and freedom. Then this time they're going to remain here, but Harriet's going to come back. She's going to come back down the river. And this time she's going to take her parents, and she's also going to take any other slaves who want to go. So let's put out a couple more figures to be those slaves who are coming with her. And when we move these folks, there's still a lot of figures to move, so just kind of do it slowly. And then the story talks about how sometimes God tells her when it's safe to move. So if you want, you can sort of like show that the slave catchers sometimes are getting closer to them, but that they still, Harriet leads them right on through to safety. So here we go. They stop at the same spots. And then here we go. The story ends with Harriet leading everybody in this party to freedom in the north.